Well, welcome back to SDNCAST. We have a crowded house here. I have not one, not two, but the first time in an SDNCAST interview, I think 3 speakers.
Wow.
And you have a session, all 3 of you together. But before we dive into that, please introduce yourself. Who are you and where are you from?
Mark. Jesus Christ, then I'll just start. So my name is Jonas. We're from Germany. We work at a company called TNG Technology Consulting. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Martin, and also a TNG Technology Consulting, and we are a consulting company, obviously.
Yeah.
And we do agile software development, AI.
And I'm Thomas. I'm one of the managing partners at TNG. Been there for 14 years now.
14 years now. So, and of course, you already told me you have not one, you have 2 sessions, but one of the sessions is a keynote. So, let's focus on the keynote.
Yeah.
What did you talk about in your keynote?
It was basically about AI and the potential for manipulation of public sentiment.
So election manipulation, essentially.
Yeah.
What you can do with AI and why or how you can detect it and what we can do against it, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. And you fitted that all in 1 hour?
25 minutes.
In 25 minutes.
This was tough.
This was tough.
This was
I can
tough.
imagine. I can imagine. But did you manage to come to a conclusion in those 25 minutes?
We hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the easy technological solution that most people would hope for. It turns out, like, for fake detection, there's no technical solution. You still have to be aware. You still have to kind of look at stuff. And it turns out AI fakes are just as bad as all the other fakes that we had previously, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that something like election manipulation is nothing new, and you could do it with low-tech solutions, that you can do it with no-tech solutions as well, and that you just have to be aware about what you share and what you want to spread to the world.
Yeah.
And is this something that you say it's already here for many years, but is it on the rise now with AI? Is it more often than it was in the past?
At least it's getting easier to create fakes, and at the same time the fakes might be getting more convincing. So this is something that is easier possible with generative AI than it was before.
Yeah, and the real problem here is we have a technology that allows us to do fakes on a level that people don't necessarily expect if they don't know the technology. So that's a big part of what we do, is educating people, hey, look, this is possible now. Just like Photoshop was new like 20 years ago, and people learned that this is the thing. We kind of have to get to the same understanding of like AI-generated fakes, and even if there's a flood of them, I'm pretty sure that if you are able to expect them, they won't do that much harm.
But that is if the knowledge is within the people to recognize where it is a fake. And if they are not recognizable anymore, how can you guard yourself from that?
There's also another problem. What if you're too skeptical? So, something is real, but everybody says, oh, maybe it's fake, I don't believe that, and so on and so on. So it goes in both directions.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we've had the same problem as I keep going back to Photoshop, right?
Yeah, no problem. It's a very obvious...
this is a very obvious analog. But we have had things like photo forensics for years, where you can take like a week of some expert's time and like really make sure that this photo of Kim Kardashian's buttocks is false, maybe, right? You can do that with today's technology, but most people won't.
Yeah.
They have no means of telling what is real and what is fake, but still somehow the world didn't collapse because people learned to find sources that they trust and maybe also find other ways of verifying the false or correctness of some information. So,
but that is when somebody is verifying it. But sometimes you see somebody tends to believe something because it's in their alley.
And now, a message from our sponsor.
And they don't believe something that's not particularly in their alley.
Yeah.
And I think that's even growing now with social media and with AI. Don't you think?
The problem with that is not about technology. So you could have something like, just write something about some personality that you don't like and put them in a light that is unfavorable. And people will believe you, even if you don't have the slightest clue that this is true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's not AI generated. Sorry, going off topic in this case.
It's interesting because we actually talk about this in our keynote as well, like how biases work and how you should read beyond what the headline says, and that some things are maybe taken out of context just to generate hype and stuff like that. So.
It's the same like the attention span. So nowadays, so you get flooded with media, with images, videos, and stuff like that on a small mobile phone screen. And you just have an attention span per post of, I don't know, studies say 9 to 12 seconds on the upper. Most of the time 5 seconds. And how would you realize if something is fake within such a short amount of time?
Yeah, that's right. You have to take your time, kind of.
Yeah.
But can we then, in this case, use AI to filter out those fakes, to recognize those fakes, or?
That's an interesting question because we've tried that as well. We've tried deepfake detectors, so for traditional full-face deepfakes, for text generation, so is this ChatGPT generated, and for audio deepfakes as well. And it turns out, well, it's kind of a hit and miss situation. Sometimes they will work. On a very good deepfake, it's more often than not really going to work because you can always tailor a faking tool to not be detected by these tools. So in most cases, what you buy by having a deepfake or a fake detector is just a false sense of security.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes probably the problem even bigger. Because if that detection says it's not a fake while it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa, of course. Yeah.
Then the problem is you need very reliable detectors in order to be able to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. And right now your eyes are probably better suited to detect such video deepfakes, or your ears are better suited to detect audio deepfakes than any of the detectors we tried out with currently.
Interesting. And what was the biggest note you wanted to give it to the audience while giving your speech?
Well, two things kind of, like AI is a tool, like a hammer, and you can beat somebody to death with it or you can build a house. We have this dual use thing. It's always going to be a good and a bad side to this. But at the same time, the whole AI fake thing that we're seeing, it's not really an AI problem, it's a human problem, as always. There's people who want to fake something, and there's people who want to believe this. This has always been the case. This is nothing new, like we only have a new tool to do this. So, and there is hope, like the world hasn't stopped yet. And it's not going to stop for another couple of years, so we're very confident that the AI is not going to be the end of trustworthy information and the world as we know it. So that's the main takeaway.
I think that's a very great takeaway, and I think we should have to leave it at that takeaway. And I hope to see you again next year at TEQnation.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully.
I heard you are already here 6 years now, so...
Something like that.
Yeah, so... Let's see if the world still hasn't ended in next year.
Yes.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Not even regards with AI, and then we can take this discussion to the next level.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you.
I don't know.
We are not faked.
Well,
Thomas
thank
is
you.
usually the deep.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.